members. So call the member for Hotham.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, I represent one of the most multicultural communities in Australia, and we have benefited enormously from the many waves of refugees that have come to make their home in the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne. And, Deputy Speaker, I'm also very lucky to represent a very wide community of people who are passionate about refugee and asylum seeker issues. One such family who, through their church, provide a lot of support to refugee families, have approached me about a particular example that I wanted to share with the Parliament because I think it's a good illustration of the perverse, nonsensical outcome of government policy and the way in which not just families but we as Australians are suffering from the consequences. Speaker, the family in question are originally from Iran, and some years ago they became interested in the teachings of Christianity. Because of their friendships in that community, people within the family lost their jobs and they began to be victimised essentially by the people around them. The family were able to escape to Malaysia in 2008 where they became fluent in English, and eventually one of the youngest sons in the family was accepted to study at RMIT and the family followed him here to Australia. Deputy Speaker, this family applied for asylum in 2013. And they have spent the last 3.5 years waiting, living a life in limbo for the outcome of a decision about whether they'll be allowed to stay in Australia. They've been on temporary visas, of bridging visas, and they are still unaware today as whether they will be allowed to continue the life that they are beginning to build here. Speaker, this is a family who want to make something of their lives. They're a family that cares passionately about education and they want their 2 sons to pursue university studies. Now, those boys are desperately keen to get into a course that will help them on track to a professional life, a life that was lived by their parents. But instead, Deputy Speaker, they've been forced into just manual labour trying to make ends meet because they really have no idea as to whether they'll be allowed to stay in this country. Deputy Speaker, they're being held back by government policy. I believe the length of time that the family is being made to wait is intolerable. 3.5 years is simply too long to live in limbo. Now, I said this matter was raised with me by a local family, and I said through their church they support several families who are in this position. So it's not just this family, Deputy Speaker, but there are many around Australia who are living in these exact same circumstances. 3.5 years is an intolerable time to wait to have your future determined, and I want to put on the record before this Parliament that on behalf of the people of Hotham, I do not support this approach. Especially in a country like ours where we have benefited so much, especially in the old days where we actually had a refugee policy that was designed to help people set themselves up here, to help them learn English, to help them find a home, to help them find work. But these days are no longer, it seems, Deputy Speaker. These families have lived here for years, they feel Australian and they want to make a contribution, but government policies are preventing it from happening. And I think it is in the best interest of the country, Speaker, that those policies change. Thank you.